So we'll do our best here. I'm seeing these as they're coming up. So
Sure.
again, this is some of the information from the Progressive or the Design Build Institute of America. They have several booklets that are out there on design build and the various iterations of design build that really step agencies through the process. This design build done right is another example of that. And again, it's promoting the idea of design build and reminding people of what you need to do in order for your project to come out well. Let's see what they have here. This is just essentially a plug for design build as being a way to get what the agency needs and wants, hopefully in a more iterative environment. Go to the next slide. This is the primer that I mentioned on progressive design build. This one specifically talks about examples of progressive design build. It again talks about the qualifications-based selection. Again, best value is a little bit complicated because you only have the guaranteed price for phase 1, not for phase 2, and you're progressing towards a full contract price with the design build team and a full scope, schedule, and budget. So that's what he has here as well. Next slide. Let's see. Owner must be ready to make decisions quickly. This is some of the stuff from that primer. These are recommended key items for an agency to be prepared for when they enter into these projects in order for them to be successful. Quick decision making obviously is important. If the agency is not prepared to give responses to the progressive design build team, the whole project stalls. That collaborative, trusting environment, having a partnering relationship with your progressive design build team, again, is critical, especially in these types of projects where you're in an iterative process. Owner has to be involved. Again, without owner input, the contract or the design build team progresses something only to find out the owner doesn't want it or like it. If they find out after the fact, that's a lot of wasted time and effort. Should avoid using bridging documents or prescriptive requirements. The idea here is you're looking for an end result, and Federal Highway often talks about this, not just in design build or progressive design build, it's with everything. Owners need to understand what their end results are and not so much the means and methods to get there. Minimize costs as part of the selection. This again is what I talked about. You're only acquiring and going through procurement one time with the design build team, not separately with a designer and separately with the contractor, unless of course you invoke the off-ramp option, then you're going through that whole situation as well. Again, he's talking about collaborative environment. Understand the design build team must understand that they are responsible for design and construction. Again, one contract, that team is wholly and solely responsible for the design and the construction. It is not the owner's responsibility. Builder should manage the design actively. Trying to read what he has here. Design builder must provide cost development as designs evolve in real time. This is critical for that agreement for the guaranteed maximum price. So as we mentioned, you only have phase 1 costs, you don't have phase 2. The design build team has to be constantly updating their numbers, and the owner has to be constantly evaluating those numbers as well. Design builder must provide owner scope with price to make decisions. So this is part of that discussion where the design build team may come up with means and methods and solutions that fit the design parameters that were in the original contract. The owner needs to be provided with what those solutions are. And they also need to know that price, because again, they have a threshold at which point they then need to exercise the off-ramp. So the owner has to be aware of how the selections that they make in the design and the means and methods that the design builder presents affect that guaranteed maximum price. Next slide. Let's see what he's got on the next one. This is like a lottery here.
So he's got, I'm just going to show the whole, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, show the whole thing. Again, this is talking about the fact that they're using qualifications for the selection. You don't have the full price. You may only have small parts of the price. You've got to have a good group of people for partnering and you have one team for that design build collective response for the project. Everybody's got to be on the same page. So yeah, that's pretty much what this one's saying. Next one.
Okay.
Oh, it's still moving. Okay, there's
Yeah,
more lines.
sorry, it's very dynamic.
Holy mackerel.
There we go. I think that's it. Yeah.
I think in this one again, he's just looking at the fact that the owner and the progressive design build team are working together as one. It is a very collaborative, iterative environment, and everybody is working towards a scope, a schedule, and a budget in order to deliver that project. And all of those having open, honest communication and having a similar vision for where this project is going is what makes these projects successful. Next one. See what we get on the next lottery roll here. Yikes.
I think that. Wait a minute. Wait for it.
There's more.
Wait for it. Wait. Ooh. Okay. I think that's it.
Oh, let's see what we've got here. I guess in the collaborative systems, he's giving us some ways that the team can interact. Obviously, if you're able to do 3D models and you can share them with your various stakeholders in a digital environment, one, you have a single source of truth. You are able to have everybody viewing that in a visual environment that provides a very good picture and a very good view of what the project is delivering. That integrated work environment, again, that's a single source of truth, and having everybody working towards the same project and the same goals, and often a single source of truth. They have a collaborative environment where they're doing all of that in one workspace. And he gives Revit. He's also using the term BIM. BIM is also looking at not just the design, but the future asset management of those projects as well. Collaborative environments, designers, subcontractors. This is part of things that does get a little bit more complicated with progressive design build, especially if you're doing those individual work packages. Often those individual work packages involve subcontractors, and those people need to be on board with the design build team in order for that collaborative environment and those step processes to work in the correct manner that they should. So there's a lot of responsibility on the part of the design build team to reach out to those stakeholders and their sub-consultants and their subcontractors in order that they can progress that design appropriately. Next lottery slide.
Halfway there, Kat. You're doing great.
Oh my gosh, this is crazy. Never did this before. Oh, there was another one in there.
All right.
More animation. I always get rid of the animation. Oh my gosh, there's more.
Woo, it gets better.
Woo, there's a lot going on there.
That is a lot. Okay.
Let's see what happens here. Okay, so I guess what he's doing here is highlighting the phase 1 versus the phase 2 of the progressive design build contracts. So as I mentioned, in phase 1, the owner agency has some programming that they do, some basic design elements, and some wants and needs and scope and schedule and budget for the contract. Then they actually have to procure that design build team, and they bring them on, and that progressive design build team will also do their own trade procurements. Those are the subcontractors, they're subconsultants to do the work. Ultimately, now I don't know that I completely agree with this visual. I would say that construction services can also happen as part of phase 1. Those are those stepped progressions. Construction services are not solely tied per se to phase 2. In progressive design build, there's some overlap there. Trying to see what he has in the little yellow box. Commissioning of building systems, support activation needs, the model, support active, design builder participates in activation activities. I guess this is just essentially what they're saying is the design build team ultimately helps with the subs to bring everything on board. This is more geared towards vertical construction, where
Yeah,
you might have different systems. And if you have business buildings, before you can do occupancy, you have lighting, you have fire suppression, you have IT, you have heating, HVAC. Those things are brought online. So this is more in regards to building construction, not so much horizontal. Vertical often has various stages of turn on and activation for the different functions of a building. Highways, either they work or they don't. We don't open highways in pieces. They either we open them or we don't. So this is more vertically driven than that yellow box.
yeah, I think he's got some other examples in this presentation that speaks to that more of a vertical component need.
Yeah,
right.
that's more of a vertical thing. Next
But we
slide.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
there's
can skip that, Joe.
I'm sorry, what? And now?
Skip the verb, yeah, skip the
Yeah,
verb
yeah,
part.
yeah.
Keep going.
Ooh.
Oh, there's more. Oh, there he shows it moving over. Okay.
Okay, yeah, that adjustment. Sorry about that. I forgot that was in his animation.
And then hopefully the blue goes over. Yeah.
Yeah. Shifting that time factor.
Which is what I was saying. I would say it would be more over. So it did eventually do that. Yay.
How about that? You got it right.
I got it right. Yay. Yeah, there it goes. See, I said the blue should be over in phase one. See,
Exactly. I think you got that magic ball.
It's just we didn't let the animation play.
Yeah, yeah. All right.
And that's just talking about compressing the schedule. That's pretty much, I guess, what he's getting to here.
Yeah.
It's not a linear fashion. It's in pieces. It's stepped. It's concurrent, and that shortens your delivery time.
Perfect. Thank you. Yep. All right. Number 10.
So trade packages, again, would be more vertical construction.
Yeah.
Which we're not, I don't think today, really talking about.
Yeah. So I'll just go through those pretty quickly. There's some overlap here with the design builder trade and the trade packages, but
well, these
Joe,
are, I guess,
what I would do is I would just skip out of the presentation. We can go to the next one, I think.
okay. All right. So we do get into the guaranteed max price.
Well,
And
and
what-
there'll be others who'll speak to that, so yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and this is just showing that you have the phase one versus the phase two items. So the phase one is the stuff, I guess that's the purple and some of the orange. And then the phase two is what we would call the blue.
How many, there was one, I think it's more specific to Florida, was how many progressive design build projects have been completed through letting?
0.
0 right now, 0, right? How is the design builder chosen? Resumes, you know, and there's a comment in here about needs more discussion.
So again, you're looking at more of a qualifications based versus a cost based because you don't have the final cost. The same type of evaluation criteria you would use in design build, you would also use in progressive design build. You're looking at qualifications, you're looking at experience, you're looking at innovation. A lot of states do it a lot of different ways. Some of them do it strictly on a proposal. Some of them have in-person interviews. Some of them have presentations. Again, you're looking at ways that your proposer can be innovative to deliver the scope, schedule, and budget that you're asking for. So the more your state can allow the design build team to be innovative and creative and present that as part of their proposal, the better hopefully your project is and better able to take advantages of those outcomes. So resumes alone are typically not sufficient. You want to see what their experience is, and you want to see what their expectations are for the means and methods and the final deliverables of your project. And that's where you get the contractors to stand apart and innovate amongst each other.
Final cost. If the final cost of the project is less than the GMP, then will the difference be split between the owner and the design build team?
No. If the final price is less, that's money the owner saved. There's
Okay.
no agreement for extra money now.
All right.
That would have to, if you, that's not even an option.
Okay. All right. Explain the basis for having the contractors prepare a GMP upon completion of the design phase, but prior to going through the bidding process. Is it for the owners? Is it for the two more? Just a three-part question. Is it for the owner's off ramp for budgetary purposes? And lastly, what happens if the market pricing during the bidding phase does not put them in position to honor the GMP?
So I guess if you can show slide 14 that was in the presentation that's up now, I guess that's what they're talking about.
Okay.
Just go one up. Because he had it and I did. But I think, yeah. And go one slide before that to slide 14. So what the person, whoa.
Sorry, I got clicking it too fast.
This is a lesson in why we should not do animations for webinars.
Yeah. I know you put a lot of time and effort into it, so.
He probably got the slides from the same guy I did, so you can just delete the animation. Somebody else did them.
Yeah.
These are DBIA slides. Somebody at DBIA put a tremendous amount of time into the animations.
Yeah. This one, right?
So, well, this is 13. So 13 is showing a progressive design build project that's progressing more like a traditional design build job, in that the design starts and then somewhere early in that design process, a guaranteed maximum price for the whole project is agreed to. But this is the slide that the person is asking about. So
Okay.
slide 14 is, if you want to put it on that bigger display mode.
Oh, yeah, we'll do.
So this is the one the person's asking about. So there is the possibility in progressive design build that the entire design is completed and you still have not agreed to a final guaranteed maximum price. Ultimately, it is in the best interest of the agency to maintain that integrity of that contract, which is having one design build team that's responsible for the design and the construction of the project. It's one procurement, it's one group of people. That is the intent of design build, whether it's progressive or not. However, there is the possibility that you don't agree to a final guaranteed maximum price during the design, and then it pushes up to this design completion phase. So the contract has two ways it can go. Either the progressive design build team and the owner agree to a final guaranteed maximum price, or the owner can invoke the off ramp and they can go out to bid in the open bidding environment. Now, different states may write this differently. Some of them may put it in the original contract that if a guaranteed maximum price is not agreed to, that design build firm may not bid on it in the open market, because now they revert to being the designer of record only. Other contracts may still allow the progressive design build team to bid again in the open market, and they can bid higher, lower, or the same as what their negotiated guaranteed maximum price was. That's their option. Whether they have that in the original phase 1 contract varies by state and varies by agency owner. But again, it's in the interest of all parties to just have that one contract. If in fact they cannot, that off-ramp exists, that the owner can procure a separate construction contractor to do the project. But the realities is now you have a design build team that's miffed because they didn't get the final contract that's only serving as your designer. You're bringing in a third party to be your contractor and all the legalities and all the coordination that comes with that. So it's in the interest of the agency's ultimate goals to get these projects on time, on budget, and on cost. And going out on that on-ramp at this stage in the game probably would not provide the best cost, but it's a possibility.
Very good. Thank you, Kat.